Porter County, and welcome to yet another edition of the PoCo Wellness Hour right here on WVLP 103.1 FM, your voice for local community radio and your show for health, community connection, and overall well-being. I'm Demetrius Lewis, Communication Manager for the Porter County Health Department. Here on the PoCo Wellness Hour, we shine a spotlight on the incredible health initiatives that are shaping our community and the powerful partnerships that make it all possible. From local organizations working to improve public health to the innovative programs led by the Porter County Health Department, this show is your guide to stay informed, inspired, and engaged on your wellness journey. So sit back, relax, and let's dive into today's conversation about building a healthier Porter County together. Now, here on the PoCo Wellness Hour, as we always do, we have a very special guest in studio with us today. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce Peyton Summers with Help Me Grow Porter County. Peyton, how you doing today?
Good. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Let's just dive right into our first segment, Peyton. Once again, thank you for joining us. We really appreciate your time here on the PoCo Wellness Hour on WVLP 103.1. Can you tell us a little bit about your full title at Help Me Grow Porter County, and maybe give us a little snippet, a little snapshot of the role that you provide?
Sure. So I am a family resource specialist for Help Me Grow Porter County. And in short, my role is really just connecting families with community resources, giving them education that they may need, providing, essential services, and just helping them navigate things that are available to them here in the community.
How long have you been there, ma'am?
So I have been working with Help Me Grow for about 2.5 years now that we've been kind of implementing the model here in Porter County.
Okay. So where did you grow up? And what kind of a kid were you when you were growing up? Were you an athletic kid? Were you a bookworm? Were you like one of the Grease girls with the pink jackets bullying the other people? What kind of kid were you when you were growing up?
So I grew up here in Northwest Indiana. I went to Portage High School. I wouldn't say I really belonged to any specific group of people. I kind of was always super social, had a lot of friends amongst all different types of friend groups and stuff like that. So,
any sports or extracurriculars?
I did a bit of swimming and gymnastics and things like that. I was a lot more athletic in my younger childhood, not so much as I went into high school, but yeah.
Understood. Okay. So when and how did you decide to pursue this current path that you're on? What led you to become a family resource specialist and working in early childhood family support here in Porter County?
So, to kind of put a scope on things with Help Me Grow, Help Me Grow is a model, and it's made up of a partnership between Opportunity Enterprises, First Things First Porter County, and the Porter County Public Library System. And so I have been employed with Opportunity Enterprises for almost 9 years, where I also serve as a family resource specialist for OE. The model of Help Me Grow was kind of put on the table, and it was like, well, this is kind of what I'm already doing, servicing families that need connections within disability resources. And so basically we just kind of expanded my audience to all children and families in need of resources.
Was there a pivotal moment or a mentor in your life who kind of helped you guide you towards this career? Is it something you've always wanted to do?
Yeah, so I would say there's kind of two pivotal moments from where I got involved with Opportunity Enterprises, and then when I got involved with Help Me Grow. My journey kind of going to OE was always really clear. I was a peer tutor all throughout high school. I just knew that working with that population was what I wanted to do. So after I graduated, I had a couple, smaller jobs, and then I applied at OE and was hired as a DSP, where I worked directly with our clients there in supporting them. And then I moved into more of a social services role with OE, where I still continue my work there. And then kind of the next pivotal moment was shortly after we kind of started the implementation of Help Me Grow. I attended a networking event that was for all different types of providers that support families and children. And I was really just shocked to see the amount of resources and support. And that it almost makes me a little emotional because it hit home for me. I was a young mom. I definitely experienced my fair share of struggles throughout that, and to just see that there's this huge, whole network of support for families that are going through certain things. I was like, wow, I'm looking to kind of shift that into fueling other families to know what all is out there.
Porter County really is good about stepping up and helping their community out, helping out their fellow neighbor, if you will.
Yes.
Absolutely. Let's move on to our next segment, if you don't mind. Let's talk a little bit more about the organization, Help Me Grow. You kind of gave us a little bit of a rundown about the organization, but can you give us just a little bit more about Help Me Grow Porter County for those who may not be familiar with the organization? Maybe talk a little bit about your mission.
Sure. So as I kind of mentioned, Help Me Grow is more so of a model. It's a national model. There's a Help Me Grow National Center. There is a Help Me Grow Indiana. And then we brought that model here locally to Porter County. There's 30 states across the U.S. that are affiliates of Help Me Grow, and there is over 140 local implementations of Help Me Grow. So that's just kind of a snapshot of the overall picture. Mm-hmm. But really, what we aim to do is just work as think of it like a power grid for community resources. The core purpose of just helping families and providers connect with what they need. We aren't necessarily a program, but like I said, more so of a model. We help to organize these resources, be up to date on what's available, and then when a family calls into us, rather than, well, here's 5 numbers that maybe you can try to get some help, we step in however we can, do that legwork, make those phone calls, and then give them actual connections to the resources that they need.
Understood. So I was doing a little research and I was seeing on your website. So the 4 core components that I saw on there: centralized access point, child health care provider outreach, community outreach, and data collection. How do these look in practice here in Porter County?
So the centralized access point, that's me. This looks like basically a call center that's just easy to use point of contact for families or providers that are seeking guidance or referral. So they call into me, it's literally me on the other end of the phone, and we work through what their situation is and get them connected. So that's just we hope for it to be just one central access point, whether it's for the providers or for the families, whether a provider is referring somebody to me or whether it's me referring a family to a provider. So that's that. The family and community outreach is really about educating the community on the resources that are available. This might look like attending resource fairs, speaking to groups of parents on specific topics, or just educating them on what Help Me Grow is here for, letting them know what's out there. And I also like to jump in and attend other pre-existing programs where I can just engage with families. The child healthcare provider outreach is about really just creating a referral network of trusted partners, so that when I'm referring somebody out, it's like, I've been here, I know these people, I'm sending you to a good source. The data collection and analysis piece, we're still working on that. Turns out it takes a long time to really streamline some of these things. So we're working on that. We hope that data that we're collecting now will be put to use in future years from now to show what do we need more of, what needs to be more accessible, what are the most families calling in looking for, and what are their barriers in accessing them. And so that's kind of long game, the data collection.
Are there multiple people at your role, or are you the sole person at your job with your job title?
I'm currently the only family resource specialist, and I am the one just kind of boots on the ground out there, making the connections and meeting with families and stuff. But I always say Help Me Grow is a small but mighty 2-woman team, and so it's myself and then my supervisor, Tiffany McCammon, who also serves as the Senior Director of Social Services and Nursing and Help Me Grow at Opportunity Enterprises. So.
Small but mighty.
Yeah.
Okay, so without giving too much detail, are you able to share maybe a success story without breaking any confidentiality, like I said, on how you at your role or maybe someone at the organization has helped somebody and you've directly seen it? Can you talk a little bit about a success story or two?
Yeah, absolutely. So one huge thing for me that was just really successful, and it just kind of showed full circle of our community and our resources coming into play for a family. A woman called in to me. She explained her situation. It was a pretty serious situation. She had just relocated. She'd been in the shelter for some time. She had just gotten her own apartment. We celebrated that together. That's huge. But they were really just starting from nothing, her and her children. And I just so happened to be going to a resource fair that evening. I told her about it. I was like, I did some research. I put together some resources for you, and if you can, you should come to this resource fair because you'll make direct connections there. And she did, and when she came up to my table and she was like, "It's me, we talked earlier today," and I watched her go around that room and make the connections to all of the places that I planned on connecting her with, and it was really a cool thing to see, because I know that she left there with an abundance of support and ways to go and just get the household items and all the little things that she needs, and even like assistance with fixing her car, and just a lot of support there. So I know that she left feeling connected and like she was on the right path.
When people come to you, they could almost see you as a lifesaver, so to speak. You're really helping people, really putting them in, and putting them with those connections that they really need. This might kind of lead into my next question. What is your favorite part about this job? You've been on this job, you say 2+ years now. What keeps you coming in every day?
Yeah, really, and so yes, a little over 2 years with Help Me Grow, but I've been providing resources to families for many more years at this point. And my thing that makes me the most passionate about it is there's a lot of times that I talk with someone and before we end our conversation, they say, like, this conversation changes our lives because now we're on the right path. Now we have been provided with all this information that we didn't know existed. So that's got to be number one for me.
That's amazing. Along with the good times, there may be some challenging times. So let's talk a little bit about what are some of the biggest barriers that you see families facing in Porter County when it comes to early childhood development or accessing that support that they need.
Sure. So even though there are a lot of programs and supports available, I do find that they may not be affordable. It's tough. Everything is expensive. There's cuts to funding that people receive. Or, there's wait lists or very strict eligibility requirements. Just certain things, for example, parents who need to get to work, but they're struggling to find consistent or high quality childcare, and then definitely struggling to pay the cost of that. And so we have some things in the works and surveys and data that we're trying to collect, and reaching out to those higher power people that can hopefully shine a light on some of those barriers and figure out what can we do about it.
Absolutely. So, like I said in this segment, this is for those who may not be familiar with the organization. How can they get a hold of you? You guys have a website, social media. How can they get a hold of you?
Yes, we have all the things. We have our website, helpmegrowpc.org. We have a phone number. Can contact me via email, social media, all the outlets.
Absolutely. Okay. Let's move on to our next segment, collaboration and community connection. Let's talk a little bit about that collaboration aspect. How does Help Me Grow Porter County work with local, healthcare providers, early learning programs, libraries? Talk a little bit about that community connection, if you will.
Sure. So all of our community partners, I have gone out to their organizations, sat down with somebody there, taken a tour of their locations, and gone through, what all do you offer? What are the eligibility requirements? All of those things. So that way I know that I'm referring people, like I said, to a trusted source. It helps me keep up to date on what everybody has to offer, and who I should send where. And so we all work together. I refer to them, they refer to me whenever there's families needing services beyond what they are providing. And yeah, it's a team effort.
Understood. So are there any formal referrals or pathways or informal practices that you'd like to highlight?
Really, as far as like referral pathways, just reaching out via the phone, the website, just social media, and nothing really additional that I can think of.
Yeah. All the ways, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Let's move on, if you don't mind. We're going to move on to talk a little bit about some upcoming programs and maybe some things that you want to focus on for the winter. So looking ahead with these winter months, and it's been cold, so you know it's coming. What programs or initiatives does Help Me Grow Porter County have planned? Anything that you're really excited about?
Sure. So I would love to highlight one program that we do offer. It is called Books, Blocks, and Balls, which is a open, free play group where we rotate around all of the Porter County Public Libraries, as well as the Westchester Public Libraries. They happen just about every other Wednesday, and it's a 45-minute open play group that and something that's really special about it is that we have early childhood specialists on site there at every play group who are also licensed developmental therapists. We don't want families to think they're coming to a screening event because it's really just about coming and having fun. But for those families that do have questions about development, it just gives them access to a professional in like a really light, fun environment. So I think that's really awesome. Somebody can talk about concerns that they might be having, and they don't have to go through the more serious or scary feeling steps of making those appointments and having those evaluations. They can kind of just get on the right track for that. Then we also have a resource table at each one of the events, and so families that are in need of assistance or resources, they just come on over and visit me at the table. So that's one of our biggest successes so far is this play group, and we are set with that through 2026. So that can be found on the calendar on the Help Me Grow website, the library's website, of when those events are happening. But yeah, outside of that, just continuing to attend events that are happening. There's a lot of different like wellness fairs and community baby showers and things that we do often here that just invites the community in to see what all is out there, and we're always looking forward to attending those events.
There's a couple of other events that I wanted to kind of point out to you. Maybe we could talk a little bit about those. Bundle of Joy, is that's community, that's a baby shower, I would imagine, right?
So, actually, Bundle of Joy is a package of free, easy, accessible resources for everyone. So, Bundle of Joy is made up by a couple different things, being Seeds of Promise, Talking is Teaching, Books, Blocks, and Balls, Dolly Parton Imagination Library, and a little bit of, and so we call this little package of resources our bundle of joy that we are giving to families. And so one thing that I would love to highlight from the bundle of joy is the Seeds of Promise. That is a $100 that goes into a savings account for any baby born in Porter County, as long as their parents signed up before their first birthday. And as long as their address was within Porter County when the child was born. And so they can sign up for that. It's just a QR code with a couple simple questions, and then that $100 will be held at the community foundation until they want to transfer it into their own college savings fund. Then they'll add another $50, and so that is just basically a free $150 that can be used for secondary education purposes for any baby born here in Porter County.
It's a lot of good programs that you guys have going on here coming up. So are you hosting any like special play groups, library events, or open play sessions, or developmental screenings, kind of like we talked a little bit about earlier, developmental screening events scheduled for the winter that parents should know about?
A few different things. So as I had just touched on a little bit, our Books, Blocks, and Balls program, that's an open play group for any kids. Generally ages 0 through 5 are what we see there. And then the library is always hosting tons of different events. I couldn't even begin to name them, so definitely check out the event calendar at the library.
Absolutely.
And then when it comes to developmental screenings, our community really supports that early intervention. And so there are multiple different agencies that provide free developmental screenings on like an ongoing basis.
Okay.
So if anybody was ever to be having concerns or questions about development, that would be my first piece of advice, and would be to connect them to one of those developmental screening events. And so reach out to Help Me Grow if you ever need that connection.
Absolutely. Well, we're kind of wrapping up our time here on the PoCo Wellness Hour on WVLP 103.1. I wanted to leave on a lighter note. We've talked a lot about some serious things here, some awesome programs that are out there to help people in Porter County, people in our community. We talked about a lot of serious stuff, so let's end the show on a little bit of a lighter note. Is that okay, Peyton?
Okay, that works for me.
Cool. All right, Peyton. Time for a little fun. First things first. If you had to pick, what's your spirit animal, Peyton, and why?
I feel like that's such a hard question. I don't know why. But I don't know that I had ever considered this my spirit animal. My favorite animal is a pig. But whenever you think about it, maybe it could be a spirit animal. They're really curious. They're really determined. And they love to eat and relax whenever they have a chance. So I'm going to go with that.
I was not expecting that. But okay, it's your spirit animal. Whatever. Okay. In a hypothetical fight, who wins? A grizzly bear or a gorilla? Two massive animals.
Oh, man. All right.
Attitude problems.
All right. My initial thought, I would say, would be the gorilla, because they can stand on 2 feet, they've got good balance, they have thumbs, but in a larger scope, I guess overall, I would say the winner would probably be the grizzly bear, considering they are about 4 times the size and weight of the gorilla, so I'm gonna just go with that.
Sounds like you did some research.
A little bit.
4 times.
A little bit. I could go into their exact, like their approximate weights and stuff, but I think we'll just leave it at that.
She did the research. I mean, these are the things that keep me up at night. I wonder who would win that fight. If I had to guess, my heart would be with the gorilla, the punching power, the agility, like you said. But I think it would really depend on how hungry the grizzly bear is. I think that would be a big factor. But probably going to have to agree with you. We're going to have to go with the grizzly bear. Big brown bear wins that. Okay. So, if you weren't doing this job, what would you be doing? You win the lottery tomorrow, hundreds of millions of dollars. What would you be doing?
That's hard. I can't say I would want to work for NASA or be a scientist. Like I'm really kind of grounded into social services, and if I wasn't doing my job, I would be doing something else that supports families or people struggling in poverty or children who are facing struggles. It's gonna all be kind of in the same realm there.
Still be helping people.
Yeah.
So, that's actually a really good next question. So, for those who are listening to us who may aspire to follow a similar path that you are, that you're currently on, who want to help other people, who want to be in that social service, realm, what advice would you give to those people?
Well, first, go out and maybe do some volunteering. Learn about what different agencies are doing and find what sticks out to you and what makes you feel passionate and what makes you want to keep doing more, and then see where you can weasel your way in there. When it comes, there's definitely no shortage of jobs in social services areas, so that would be my advice for somebody who wanted to get involved.
If you had to put one word, a trait, passionate, comparing, something of the sort, what would you say is the adjective that you would describe? What word would you place on this job if you wanted to be successful? What trait do you need to have in order to be good at what you're doing, helping other people?
Well, can I pick 2 words?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
You definitely have to have a lot of compassion, and then also a lot of patience, I would say. It takes a lot to sit and listen and really empathize with what people are going through. And then sometimes you also have to really walk alongside them. A lot of times people who are facing different kinds of struggles, you got to really stand beside them and follow up with them. Like, hey, did you make this call? Was this connection successful for you? Do we need to keep looking to just make sure that you're still providing that level of support and building that relationship with the family?
Understood. What's one thing that people might be surprised to learn about you? Besides the fact that you like pigs.
I mean, who doesn't, though?
I mean, I like to eat them. I don't know if they're my favorite animal, but
all right, I won't say I don't.
It's your spirit, It's your spirit, I'm not judging.
I would say, I don't know. My first job was working at Subway.
Oh,
making sandwiches.
Yeah.
And so it was a career change from sandwich artist to family resource specialist. But no, that's actually what got me connected in the beginning to Opportunity Enterprises, because they would come in and I would make their sandwiches, and I was like, I want to work there one day, and that just kind of led my path.
That's how it works, right?
Yeah.
So, finally, as we close out our time here on the PoCo Wellness Hour, what is one simple piece of advice that you'd like to give to parents or caregivers right now as we head into these winter months that can make a big difference in their child's development or the family's well-being? What's something that you'd like to have everyone take away as we go into these colder winter months?
Yeah, so one just really simple piece of advice that I would give to parents or caregivers is don't hesitate to reach out for support. We all know winter can be a tough season. It's stressful. Your schedules are busy. It's easy to feel isolated. Even something as taking a few minutes each day to connect with your child makes a big difference. And so you don't have to navigate everything alone. I always say, like, don't struggle on your own. Reach out, ask for help, learn about what supports are available, and just remember that Help Me Grow is here for you.
That is awesome. As we close out, are you a sports fan?
Sort of. I wouldn't say I'm a, I don't watch religiously or anything, but.
The last question. Who is the greatest quarterback ever?
I mean, Walter Payton?
Peyton Manning. Oh, I thought you were gonna get it. Oh, you're so close.
You might have to cut this out.
You know that your name was inspired by the great Peyton Manning.
Everybody asks me when I tell them my name. They say, "Oh, Peyton like Peyton Manning," and I say, "No, Peyton like Walter Payton, because that's actually who I'm named after." So.
Oh, wow. Okay, you totally just threw. I was not ready for that. I thought you were going to catch that. That's all. Peyton, as we close out here, do you want to tell the people one more time where they can reach you at, maybe a little bit more about your socials, your website as we close out?
Yeah, sure. You can reach out to me through the Help Me Grow website. That's helpmegrowpc.org. You can look up Help Me Grow Porter County on Facebook, and then you can also visit our website to get my email and phone contact as well.
That is awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Peyton Summers with Help Me Grow Porter County, inspired by Walter Payton, not Peyton Manning. Peyton, thank you so much for your time today, man. We really appreciate it.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
Porter County, we hope that you all learned something from today's conversation. Remember, a healthier community starts with each and every one of us. For more information, events and programs that are coming up hosted by the Porter County Health Department, you can head to our website. You can find us on the Porter County government website, www.portercountyin.gov, or you can go straight to our health department website, www.in.gov, local health /Porter County, or you can find us on social media. We have Instagram, x.com /county_Porter. You can find us on Facebook, and we're also on Instagram at Porter_CountyHD. This is Demetrius Lewis, Communications Manager for the Porter County Health Department, signing off. Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of the PoCo Wellness Hour on WVLP 103.1 FM. This is your show for health, community connection, and overall well-being. Have a safe and healthy week, Porter County. Peace.